Good afternoon. The August 3rd meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust will be in order. The first matter on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting of July 20th.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes. Are there comments or questions, additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Oh, I'm sorry. We changed the rules again. We didn't change them today. We changed them. My memory's not that good. Results the same, though, right? Okay. This counts this way, right? The next item is the consent docket.
Move the consent docket subject to individual consideration.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent docket. Are there matters to be discussed individually? Hearing none. Voting, please. Consent docket's approved. The next item is item 4, which is the concurrence docket.
I'd move the concurrence docket subject to individual consideration.
Have a motion and a second to approve the concurrence docket. Are there matters to be considered individually? Hearing none. Voting, please. The concurrence docket is approved. Item 5 is an easement, a permanent easement in the Northwest 50th to Northwest 115th Street area.
Move we accept the easement.
Have a motion and a second to accept the easement, which is item 5. Is there comments, questions? All those in favor say aye. Vote. Here we are. I did it both ways that time. Bound to count. Right. The last series of items are, we have one report under item 6.
Move we receive the report regarding Lake Stanley Draper projects.
Have a motion and a second to receive the Draper report. Are there matters that need to be discussed on that report?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just briefly, and I'll defer to Brett Weingart and Lisa Hubble if you have questions, but we would like citizens to know that while the lake level is low at Lake Stanley Draper, we are proceeding with some work. We're doing cleanup now. The city staff has been out there, and some temporary personnel will be helping us in the next few weeks. We're getting prepared to replace the boat stalls. This fall, we'll be cleaning silt out of the lake around the boat stall area. We plan to construct the replacement boat stalls as the lake level is rising, and we think that construction today will take place in 2012. We think that has some flexibility, and we're preparing for the timing flexibility by having the project ready to go when we can do it. In the meantime, staff's also extending the breakwater that was desired by the boaters at Lake Draper.
Yes.
And finally, we have a boat ramp, courtesy dock, and parking area that we're looking at advertising for bids this October. So things will be moving at Draper so that when there's enough water there for good recreation, we'll have the facilities back in place.
I received a very positive report concerning the plant reintroduction this week. That looks like it's going very well. In fact, there were some of the areas that get done much better than they anticipated. Despite the extremely low water, they were very pleased with what's happened. So, we have a motion and a second to receive the report. Voting. Reports received. Next item is item 7. Each item has to be considered individually. Item 7A is the adoption of a resolution concerning the final environmental information document, certifying that a public hearing was held and so forth.
Well, I'll second that, although it might be more fun to have a revolution.
Oh, dear. Revolution? There. Freudian slip there. Voting, please. Resolution is adopted. Next item is adoption of another resolution in the same vein.
Will we adopt the resolution?
Second.
Voting, please. Resolution is adopted. Next one is approval of an application for RV and boat storage at Northwest 23rd and Sarah Road.
Move the item.
Actually, it's a water main extension to a boat storage. Oh, have a motion and a second to approve. Voting. It's approved. Next item is the adoption of a resolution authorizing the destructions of old claim vouchers and attachments.
Move the item.
One thing I didn't understand is, before we destroy them, we do microfilm them.
Oh, no,
Okay.
we digitize them. We scan them.
Okay, but there is an electronic.
Electronic record.
How long are those records maintained?
We don't plan on ever destroying them.
They'll just destroy
Yes.
themselves eventually. Okay.
Well, they get kept on hard disk, backed up.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt the resolution under item 7D. Voting. The last item on the regular agenda is to enter into executive session to discuss the Sardis transfer contract.
Move we enter into executive session.
Second.
A motion and a second. We'll have to vote on this. We'll just do it this way. Okay. Voting. Executive session is approved. Is there new business? Comments from the trustees or staff or citizens?
Mr. Chairman, just a quick update on the water system. We're over 100 degrees, and of course that's putting stresses on the system. The system's performing very well so far. We're at about 160 million gallons a day, 158.7 yesterday. The Hefner plant's at maximum capacity. The Draper plant is pumping at about 87 million gallons a day. I think its peak yesterday was 90. Instantaneous rate was 94 million gallons a day. The Oberholzer plant has been offline. We had been using the Oberholzer plant earlier this year to help backstop us and make the most use out of the North Canadian water supply while we weren't pumping from Lake Atoka. The Oberholzer plant suffered some structural problems. We've been working on solving those problems that involve center around the clear well operations at the plant. We have solved those problems. The plant staff are bringing the plant online. Certainly by tomorrow it will be operating under normal conditions and assisting us in meeting demand. The key thing, of course, as we push water is the farther you are from the plants, the more you suffer from head loss in the system at these peak demands. We have not received a large number of pressure complaints yet. We think we have about 20 million gallons to go before we start seeing more significant problems, and that we could get there, but bringing Oberholzer online will help us ameliorate that problem. So things going okay. Always nervous when it's over 100 degrees.
And we have no plans to implement any kind of rationing or
That's correct. The City's Public Information Officer with Debbie Reagan have issued a reminder that good watering practices are just a reasonable thing to do, and describe some of those for customers. But no, we have no plans for rationing.
Repeat what you said, the percentage of total capacity.
I'm so sorry for the noise. Lake Hefner plant is operating at 100%. It will hit its demand, its design flow today. The Draper plant is at about 60% of capacity. When Oberholzer comes online, it will probably be running at about 30 to 50% capacity to start out with.
So we're far from our capacity now.
That's correct.
Okay, any further comments?
Yeah, although that doesn't mean we don't have some still challenges on some delivery issues on some parts of the community where we've got transmission challenges.
Yes, sir, absolutely right. And plans in place that I think are in the capital program that you've seen, some localized issues and some regionalized issues depending.
When we talk about delivery times, we're talking about pressure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the farther you are from the plant or pumping station, the more you're going to have experienced pressure losses in the pipe. They're related to how fast the water moves through the pipe this time of year. One thing that happens to all of us, I think, is you get used to the normal average pressure, and when you reach a peak, even though the pressure may be adequate, it's not what you're used to. Today, again, very few complaints, very normal conditions, in my opinion, for running at 160 million gallons a day. Once we get to about 180, then things do deteriorate. Again, friction losses in the pipe don't deliver what people expect, and reservoir levels continue to drop, which also impacts the service delivery.
Marcia, you mentioned good watering practices. Have we included in our bill stuffers information about what good watering practices might be during this kind of heat?
We have in the past, and again, today we're out with a press release.
Yeah, press release went out within the last half hour, I think.
Okay. Further comments by staff, trustees, citizens, anybody? We are in executive session.